when this concept comes, they feel the presence of God goes. And then they feel, brother, I don't understand, there's some problem in my heart. I feel there's no presence of God. I feel there's no presence of God. Oh, I want presence of God. These are all foolish ways. First of all, the presence of God never leaves you. Whatever may be the problem, whatever may be the major problem, His presence never leaves you. Don't think His presence leaves you when you do something wrong. If it was so, then you believe that it's Old Testament. You are living in a New Testament. You are a new creation. In a new creation, His presence never leaves you. He's always inside you. But I'm saying this that before I go in my further words, I want this to be going to hell forever. His presence never leaves you. Whenever you go, think if you are doing something wrong also, His presence never leaves you. His presence never leaves you. The same incident it was with a man called Joseph. When somebody told him, what his wife told him to do something wrong, he said, how can I do this sin against God? He said in such a way as if God was just beside him. He said as God was just beside him. The word of God says that God was with Joseph. God was with Joseph. That's why he was successful. I want to say this very clearly. See, he was living in slavery. In spite of being in slavery, he became successful. You know why? Because God was with him. It's not about the problem what you're facing. It's not about the problem what you're facing. I want to make it very clear. It's not about the problem you are facing. I'll come back to again this point after some time. I'll just come back again this point. Before let me go to you in something deeper. Well, let me make you feel what is the presence of God. Something which never leaves us. Something which never goes away from us. Something is always with us. When you go in a sleeping room, He is with you. When you're eating your dinner, He's with you. When you go anywhere, He's always with you. His presence never leaves you. He's carved you on the palm of your hands. He's carved you on the palm of your hands. I want you all to be very, very sure of this fact. Very, very sure of the fact that His presence never ever leaves us. His presence is always within us. His presence is always within us. His presence never leaves us. Now I want this thing to go into your mind, in your heart, download it fully. The presence will never leave you. Believe from this moment, never ever. Whatever mistakes you commit, whatever wrongs you do, whatever right you do, the presence never leaves you. Now let me get back to the Garden of Eden. I always start with the Garden of Eden, always many of my stories or many of my messages. Because always all foundations are laid over there. But that's why I always say in Genesis chapter 1 to 3, I am learning a lot. It made this thing in so many years for me to learn its 3 chapters. It's based on the whole foundation in its 3 chapters. Word of God says, the moment Adam and Eve sinned, they heard the voice of the Lord God walking in that garden. And the word of God says, they hid themselves from the presence of the God. From the presence of the Lord. They hid themselves from the presence of the Lord. They hid themselves from the presence of the Lord. I want to say, why did they hide it? Now I want to say one thing. Only when you fear in life, people of God. I want to say this. Only when you fear, you can never understand His presence. Only when you fear. When there is God's presence, you will not fear. How does fear come? Fear comes by hearing the contradiction to the word of God. Something against the word of God. Adam and Eve obeyed something contrary to the word of God and they feared. It says God's presence came over there. In spite they sinned, God's presence came over there. But they feared. People, I want to say, if you're living in a fear mentality, you don't understand His presence. If you still feel, okay, God can punish us, or God is angry at us, or God can make me put down, or God is going to do something wrong, I did this wrong, God is not going to punish me. If you have this mentality, people are, God,